What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Just back in another video. There's your one-stop shop for anime and manga. Let's get into it. I want to start by saying thank you everyone for subscribing. If you're new here, you like my content, you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the button to post another video. Also follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. What's good, y'all? So I cannot wait to share this with y'all. I cannot believe it. I actually made a little bit of a mistake recently. So a lot has been going on. I have not been able to actually get into my manga and actually read it. Normally, when I pick up my manga volumes, as y'all see, I normally read them around that month or maybe a couple months later. But I'm normally really on top of reading my manga collection because I am an avid manga reader. I am reading manga every single day. The issue is that I have not had the time to actually go ahead and read basically my last 2 or 3 manga hauls, and it's really eating me up inside, especially because for me, if y'all see my past video, I put out a video where I showed you how much of my manga collection I've actually read. So I have a little bit over 500 volumes at this point, and I think my manga reading TBR slash like read list was, I think, 90% I've read of my collection, which I'm so proud of. The issue is that now that list is a little higher. So now I've read a little bit less, so probably it's down to maybe 75-80% at this point. I don't know. I don't think it's that much. I do normally read most of my collection. At this point, I currently have about 25 volumes in my TBR list, and I know that's not a lot, especially considering that I have over 500 volumes, but for me that is an astronomical number. Normally it's probably like 5 to 6 probably volumes that I haven't just gotten to yet, but I am thinking about getting to. This is the first time that I've actually had like full-on series that I don't know when I'm gonna get to be completely honest. Now, obviously, I know 25 manga volumes is not a lot. There's people, who have smaller collections than me, have larger collections than me. They got 80, 90, 50, 100 volume, whatever, volume that they have to read and have to get through. I feel real sorry for those people because it has to be tough. Obviously, I'll be honest, it's not easy to read manga. We don't all have, the same amount of time to actually go ahead and just try and bust out a few volumes here and there. But that's what actually inspired this video. So I wanted to share with y'all basically tips on how to burn through your manga or how to try and get it through as fast as possible. Obviously, there's going to be a little wiggle room here and there because we don't all have the exact same amount of time to actually go ahead and read some manga because we all got different lives. We all a little bit busy. So I wanted to put you on to a few tips that can get y'all to burn through that TBR list. So let's get started. And I'm also going to be following these myself. So we'll see. Hopefully I can try and burn most of my TBR list within the next month or two. I'm hoping I have enough time to read it, but we'll see. But let's get started. So the first thing, and that probably the most important, is you have to set the mood. Now, when I mean that, I mean you just have to set up your mindset because obviously we all got a lot of stuff going on. We all a little bit busy. Sometimes we don't got the time or like the headspace to actually sit down and read some manga. So that's why you have to set the mood. Sometimes you have to physically set up like just either a little reading nook or probably just a little spot on the sofa somewhere, maybe in the bed. Whatever you want to do, whatever you need to do, set up a little place where you can go and get and read your manga. Obviously if you have a lot going on, obviously if you have a lot going on and you don't have any real spot to go ahead and actually read some manga, you're probably not going to want to do it because you got to find a place, you got to waste time doing this, that, and the third, and that's taken away from valuable reading time. So what I suggest, and this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to also do it with y'all. I'm going to set up my little reading nook. For me, it's not going to be too hard. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it up next to my bed because I prefer to read my manga laying down. That's normally where I'm reading my manga at anyway. If I'm not like out and about like reading like on the train digitally, if I'm actually burning through one of my actual volumes, I'm more than likely just reading laying down. That's just the most comfortable spot for me. Some people, they cannot read laying down. Some people actually have to go ahead and hold the physical book. Others, they have to actually go like in a little corner, whatever. Find whatever little nook or little spot that is good for you. Definitely create that so that you have that place to go to. Basically to your escape room. That's where you're going to go when you've had a long day, you want to read some manga, and you're just going to you're going to find a little spot. It's going to be already set up. However, whatever you need, whether you need a little book light because you may read in the dark, whether you need a couple of drinks there, maybe hot chocolate, some coffee, whatever, hell, Gatorade, whatever you need. And then obviously a little mini stack of books, whatever you want there, that's what you're going to put on that little shelf. and you're going to just have everything all set up so when it's time for you to start reading, you just go into that mode and you just chill. Definitely a thing that I highly recommend is setting the background. So part of setting up the mood and just setting up your little reading nook is basically having some type of background noise. Not a lot of people can just read and have a lot of stuff going on in the background. For those of you that can, God bless you. I don't know how the hell you do that. I cannot do it. If there's people talking, if there's like other things going on, I can't focus. I don't even know what the hell I just read. For me, what I do is I actually have my own little personal spot of reading list on Spotify. It's nothing crazy. It's just like anime, gaming, music. That's all it is. If y'all want, I can link it down in the description. And another thing that I also put on every now and then is probably like a manga collection video. I'll find like some crazy like, you know, 1,000 plus volume, 2,000 plus volume manga collection, whatever. I'll just put that in the background, put it a little bit low. And for whatever reason, when I'm hearing videos of like manga collection, manga hauls, or manga shopping, whatnot, I can just read for whatever reason through that noise. So y'all have to find like probably what's ever best for you, whether that's just white noise, whether that's whatever kind of music you enjoy, or maybe you do what I do, put on like a video about maybe manga collecting, or a completely different video in general. Because whatever you need to try and relax, set the mood, that's what's really going to help you. Because now, boom, you have your little nook that you're going to go in and you're going to read. Now you're going to have a little speaker, or a little TV, or a little headphones or whatever, and you're going to be listening to whatever you can to just relax you, to get you into the right headspace. Because you're not going to be able to burn through your TBR list if you're too preoccupied with other things. You want to actually focus on reading some manga. So now that you have your little spot, you have your little background music, now you have to dedicate some actual time to reading manga. And that's probably going to be the hardest point, because obviously, all right, we can all just set up a speaker, we can all put some books on a nightstand, we can all just put a little blanket or whatnot, set up a little corner and read. But then here's the thing, we all got a lot of stuff to do, so we all got different things going on. So how are we going to set up that actual time to read? And at this point, this is where it's going to vary between person and person. So if you're someone that needs to read like an entire volume, go ahead and try and set around a time however long it takes you to read a volume normally. If you're someone that you're probably good just reading a couple chapters, definitely do that. And it all depends on how you're reading it too. Me, since my TBR list is actually the physical volumes, I'm going into the mindset of me trying to finish a single volume whenever I pick up a reading session. So me, even though I do have a TBR list, when it comes to digital manga, I can read that on essentially anywhere. I could be on the train, I could be not walking, but I could be on the train, I could be on the bus, I can be, just sitting down in the corner in a coffee shop somewhere. I could be doing whatever. I could be laying down in bed on my iPad. I can read the digital volumes whenever. For me, my TBR list, it bulked up with my physical volumes. That's one's a little bit harder for me, so that's why I need to set out a specific time. For me personally, you could try and mimic me if you want. I'm a little bit weird, but I need to read a full volume. However long it takes me, I need to read a full volume. If I don't read a full volume, I'll probably read it like maybe half and then finish it at another time. But for each reading session, I need to like finish a volume at least, or at least get halfway. And I really only allow myself halfway if it's like an omnibus volume. So if I'm reading something like, one of the Fire Forces, or I'm not finished that one, but if I'm reading something like Initial D, I know I'm not gonna have time to actually sit down and read an entire volume of Initial D. The omnibus is just too damn big. But something small like maybe Psychopaths, Candy and Cigarettes, maybe Soul Leveling, those I could pretty much bust out. So I would set around about, for me it takes about an hour, maybe hour and a half, depending on how thick and how wordy the volumes are to read a full volume. So that's what I've chosen to set out aside for myself. I'm gonna set out about an hour and a half every day, more or less, or every other day. So that way I can sit down and read some manga. And obviously this is probably the hard part. We wouldn't have a TBR list if we had the time to read the manga. So it's like, it's a little hard for me to give y'all that tip to be like, oh, just go ahead and dedicate some time. If you were able to dedicate the time, you probably wouldn't have, however many TBR lists. But you have to really try and stick to it. If you really enjoy just manga reading, and manga in general is a nice hobby to like really calm you down. I don't know about y'all, but that's what I really use manga for. Manga is just my decompression. It's when I need to relax, I need to escape. I go into whatever world that I'm currently reading and I lose myself. That's how I use manga. So I'm basically trying to get y'all to do essentially the same thing if that's how y'all look at manga. Some people don't. Some people, they just read it, enjoy it, have fun. They love the battle action, they love the mystery, or they love, the seinen, or they love the ecchi. Whatever they like, that's what they like. Some people, not all like me, obviously. But if you can find the time to dedicate just to reading, maybe even if it's 30 minutes, even if it's an hour, however long you can in your long day, whatever time you need to dedicate, that's what you're going to use to easily burn through your TBR list. That's probably going to be the best tip for you to try. After that, another thing that's not really talked about a lot is basically just reading what you enjoy. So obviously there's all these different popular series, and we probably all have, the popular series in our collections, because why wouldn't we? We all have, if you have about 500 volumes, you more or less have the same, we all got like around the same collection, but we all have those very high heavy hitters that everyone's always talking about. Right now at the moment, my circle, everyone's going crazy about, what was it? I think it was Smoking Behind the Supermarket and Solo Leveling. So that's what everyone is going crazy about right now. I don't know if I want to read those at the moment, to be completely honest. They are on my TBR list, but I don't know if I want to read them like right now. So I'm gonna read what I want to read, and that's basically what I want y'all to do as well. Like, just don't go based on what your friend group's doing or what you've seen on Reddit or YouTube or whatever. Read whatever series on your TBR list that you really want to get into. Me personally, I think I'm gonna try and get into that Psycho Pass prequel. I love Psycho Pass. I forgot how much I really did enjoy the anime. I think I'm gonna try and get into that one first. Maybe also get into Candy and Cigarettes, because I know I'm maybe 1 or 2 volumes and I'm actually done with the series, so I have to get into those. So I'm just going to read whatever series I prefer, and that's probably what y'all got to do too. If you have like a TBR list that has all these heavy hitters, if you got something like One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, with My Hero Academia, Berserk, or anything like that, if you don't want to really read them, don't do it, because you're going to force yourself to read a series that you're not really passionate about, and it's going to make it feel like a job, because not only for the previous tip, you're dedicating time to this essentially every day, or probably every other day, or at least a few times a week. It's going to feel like a job to you, and you don't want this to feel like a job. You want to just relax, read, enjoy yourself. So read whatever series you want to, whatever just sparks your interest on that TBR list. But keep it on that TBR list. Don't go and start a new series, because then you're going to make your TBR list even longer. Start with whatever you already got and keep it going. And lastly, I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to follow this one at all, mainly because this is what I do. But it's to stop picking up more volumes. That's probably going to be the best kind of way to stop, to burn through your TBR list as soon as possible. Because listen, if you keep buying more manga, your TBR list is gonna get longer and longer. No matter what progress you make, if you read 2 volumes this month but you bought 4, TBR list is not going down. Obviously, I'm going to continue to buy manga every single month. That's what I do. But I know how to pace myself. I know I can burn through my TBR list fast enough to try at least get myself caught up to like my rule, which is basically having like 5 to like 8 or 9 volumes that I have unread, so I can just pick up whenever I want and just read something physically. So I definitely recommend, if you can, try and stop buying just newer volumes. If you're picking up an ongoing series, I know where it feels like, you got that ongoing series and you just want to keep picking it up, but you haven't read 5 of those volumes. It's going to be tough. This is probably going to be the hardest tip that, everyone has to deal with, but this is something that's going to probably be the number one thing that's going to help you burn through that TBR list, because listen, it's going to help you make progress. You're going to actually see progress, especially if you're tracking your TBR list. If you see, okay, this month I read 3 volumes, this month I read 1 volume, you're going to see the numbers slowly go down. You might get a little discouraged if you go ahead and, I read 4 volumes this month, but damn, I bought 10 more. That TBR list is going to go right up, and you're going to feel discouraged. You're going to start feeling like a job, and we don't want that. I'm trying to help y'all burn through your TBR list as fast as possible, but be as enjoyable as possible at the same time, because especially, I know one of my friends, he has a way bigger manga collection than me. I think he has around, I know it's definitely 800 or 900. I don't remember if he hit 1,000 yet, but he's really there. He's one of those, he gets like 40, 50 volumes a month or every few months. I don't know how he got it like that. I don't. So he has a crazy TBR. I think last time I spoke to him, he doesn't even know what series he has to read anymore. I think the last time I spoke to him about his TBR list, I think he said somewhere in the name of like 100 or like maybe 200 volumes. I was just like, you feel claustrophobic. I felt claustrophobic for him. I don't know how you can have 200 volumes that you have to read at least, and just have it be that. To me, it's just going to be so crushing. It's going to feel like you're not reading anything at all. But to each his own. If he wants to be more of a manga collector, obviously do you. Enjoy this hobby however you want. Me personally, I am more of a manga reader, so I'm actually reading essentially every single volume I pick up. Or I try to hold off on ongoing series if I know they're going to finish soon. So like I did that for, I think it was Parasite. I knew Parasite has 8 volumes. I wanted to wait and read all of Parasite. Same thing with Fire Force and Soul Eater. So I'm currently like, those series I know it had an ending, so I was going to finish it and then read it. But then stuff like Solo Leveling, stuff like Zom 100, I don't know when the ending is, to be completely honest. So I'm reading those as they're ongoing. So I pretty much discussed what I wanted to today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I just want to throw out a little bit something different because, getting through and reading manga is supposed to be an enjoyable hobby. It's supposed to be something that you enjoy to do. When it becomes something almost like a job, you don't want to really do nothing. You don't want to touch your books. And that's really sad, because we collect these books. We want to read the stories. We want to enjoy them. So I'm hoping that I can at least, if y'all didn't know any of these tips, maybe I'll put y'all onto something new or maybe something to think about when it comes to trying to get through that TBR list so that it's not insanely long like everyone else's. But if you're like my friend and you prefer to have 200 volumes, do you. I ain't going to judge no one. I'm just going to be claustrophobic every time I go to his house. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you're new here, you like my content, you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the bell so I don't post another video. Follow me on Twitter. Links gonna be in the description. This is your boy Just. I'm off this.